Hello, my event friends. I am Radhika from 10 Times and I welcome you to Eva Talk by 10 Times. Today we have a very special guest with me, Jay Menashe, CTSM Gold, SVP Sales and Marketing EDE. Having been in experimental marketing for 18 years, Jay brings a wealth of experience to the table. He has managed projects for a variety of clients across technology, healthcare, manufacturing, and more. Jay has worked as a marketing consultant, a solo contributor, and now a sales and marketing leader. Welcome to the podcast, Jay. It's great to have you today with us.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, Jay. So, is there something you want to share? I just got to know you came back from a conference yesterday and you have a great feedback that, they were doubling the numbers. So, that was a great start to the conversation. Anything that you want to share, anything that you want to start with, and then maybe we'll start with the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll lead into a lot of the things we're about to talk about, but just seeing how the evolution of trade shows and events has occurred over my career. I've been doing this since about 2003, 2004 is when I started, and to see the focus from we have an event and you show up to how we engage the attendees has been a really nice evolution. So that's something I'm really excited about. It's not all about the architecture anymore.
Oh, that's great. So let's begin by asking you about your professional journey. What made you decide to join the event industry?
I feel like the event industry found me. I didn't even know it existed when I graduated. I was actually on a website, it's called monster.com, and I found a trade show job. Never been to a trade show. I'd never been to like a corporate event or anything like that. And I actually went to my first ever trade show after my interview and was amazed because, you picture these conferences like kind of like a flea market. It's a bunch of small booths set up and people are, trying to sell things. And it's nothing like that. It's like this very detailed, really impressive structures that are there and all the cool experiences people set up to impress their prospects and buyers. So yeah, I had no idea this world even existed, and I've been in it since I got out of college.
Oh, that's great. So from monster.com to here as an event specialist, that's great. Now I would take my second question up. You have an extensive experience in experimental marketing. You have helped companies create personalized experiences for trade show attendees. How have the recent years of transformation impacted your sales and marketing strategy?
So I'd say the biggest thing is people used to show up and they'd be there to listen to a presentation or a PowerPoint demo of their new products and services. And it's a lot different now, whereas people are still doing the standard demos where you walk into a trade show and you walk into a conference space and you see a computer with a screen. But it's much more focused on how you're engaging the attendees. It's not as much of, talking at them as talking with them and having them get, hands-on experience with your product or your service, just understand how it works. Whereas in the old days, it's like, oh, we have this, trade show booth set up and we just expect everybody to come in and, they all already know us and they're going to love us. And that's just not the case. People don't want to feel sold. And I feel like there's been a big transition over the last, 3 to 5 years where people are focused more on the engagement and the flow of the conference versus like, we need to sell them. We need to give this presentation. It needs to be in this format where we're just telling them everything we can all at once. It's all about the features. And now it's much more, how does this make your life easier? What solutions are we providing and what does it do for you? And how is that going to remove stress and work from your plate? And I think that's the biggest difference I've seen is all about, the benefits and solutions and engagement versus sell, sell, sell.
Oh, so we can conclude this by saying that events, as we say, they help you network and discussion. So discussions and networking are helping us. All right, that's
Absolutely.
great to hear. I think we learned the right definition of events then. So if we move ahead with the growing popularity of hybrid formats, new technologies are making it easier to seamlessly combine virtual and in-person events like us even, and than ever before. What are some of the ways you think event planners can balance virtual and on-site elements to provide value to all the attendees?
That's a very tough challenge for all event planners. There is no easy way to take care of both in-person and hybrid events and or virtual events. So I think one way we've seen to be successful is, setting them up on different days. So you have the in-person event, you're recording all the content, and then you have a separate virtual event has been really successful where you're using the pre-recorded content to share that with the audience, but then potentially setting up the, say it's an hour session or 30-minute session, use the first half of it to share the content and then use the second half as a Q&A with the speaker, the person that shared the content. And then it's not just people watching a show on TV, they get very involved, and it goes back to that engagement point I was talking about before, whereas if they get to interact with the speaker that shared the presentation, then they can dive in and feel like they were a part of it.
Oh, that's great. That's a great insight. I think we'll use it for our own events also that we're trying to help our clients promote. All right. Then, as a global recession is expected to occur in 2023, how are you planning your future event strategy while considering the possibility of a financial crisis?
For us, we believe that, people are going to take their foot off the pedal, as they say, and kind of slow down a little bit. And sales and marketing are always the first things that are looked at when the economy gets tough. But there's always people that are willing to take those chances and keep pushing forward. For EDE specifically, we look at industries that are more need to have, like cybersecurity is an industry that, people need those services no matter what is happening in the economy or a recession. So it's being aggressive and finding the clients that, want to continue to move forward and not, worry so much about what the economy might be or how long the recession might last. It's all such a big question that's out of most of our control. So looking for the companies that are really trying to stay aggressive and move forward.
Oh, all right. That's again a great tip for us. All right. Then I think this would be my final question for you. Would you like to share any advice or messages with our community of event professionals?
There's a lot of advice. I would say, and this is probably a little cliche, but always keep learning. There's such a strong community out there, event professionals, whether it's just on LinkedIn or you join one of the various communities like the event professionals community. Just ask questions, be curious, never stop learning and growing yourself in your career, personally or professionally, not even just about your career. So, stay curious and always continue to learn is really been extremely beneficial for my career, to say the least.
Oh, that's great, Jay. That was a great advice. Be a kid, always try to ask questions and get the solution if you can. And I think it was have you with us today and get to know so much more about event industry, how you came here. Any other thing that you would like to share with us? Anything about any suggestions, messages, anything for the event community?
I got a couple things. So one, just because it's always been done a certain way does not mean it should always be done that way. And I think that adds on to the always be curious and continue to learn. Just because it always work doesn't mean it will always work. So that's a really good piece of advice for, I'd say, most event professionals who kind of, we know what works and we kind of stick with it. But, it's always good to advance yourself and try something new. And then not really advice for the event community as it is for everybody. Just, give people grace, be kind. You never know what everybody's going through in their own personal lives. So, take everything you hear with a grain of salt and go back to that curiosity. Ask questions and don't just assume you know everything about people.
That's a great piece of advice, Jay, and a message for all of us that we always, try and give a chance to everyone and consider everyone. So thank you so much, Jay, for joining us today at Eva Talk, and it was a great session. It was my first session, as I told you, and I hope that we continue to spread the word and continue to express more about the event community that people get to know now. And thank you again for joining with us today. And for more such talks, people, you can join 10 times social media channels, follow us on social media. And thank you again. Have a great day.
Thank you for having me.